I would like to reconvene the Parker Town Council meeting. All of us are in attendance except for Councilmember Hefta and Mayor Toborg. Please stand with me and do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you very much. The next item is public comment. Public comments or anything with no action will be taken on these items. Public comment is the opportunity for the town residents and other interested individuals to speak about items that are not on the agenda. Public comment is limited to 30 minutes total time, with each individual allowing a maximum of 3 minutes to speak. I have no one signed up. Is there anybody who would like to come and see public comment with us? Seeing none, we will close public comment at 7:01. Next item is reports, items, and comments from mayor and council. Councilmember Rivero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I can't remember the day. I should have my calendar up. A few of us had the opportunity to attend an economic development summit up at Cherokee Ranch and Castle. Saw some old friends, met some new friends. I think just a great event to network and talk about the future of our communities, and obviously to roll out a new collaborative process between all of the Douglas County Economic Development departments. And I believe it'll make us even stronger in the metro area. We've always shown our strength in the partnership, and I think it's timely that the economic side comes into the partnership also. So just a very proud night, I think, for all of us in Douglas County.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Pogue.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. So, outside of, we were there.
We were there, yep.
All right. Councilmember Hendricks.
Thank you. Nothing to report.
Councilmember Barrington.
Yep, that was a great event. I'd never been to Cherokee Ranch. I think Josh said it all. It was a great event. I also attended a Downtown Business Alliance social mixer on the 22nd, and a grand opening for the new senior living center, Terra Bluffs, which is going to be coming in a few months, I think. But they held their grand opening celebration, even though they're not opened yet, at the Ascent on Main at the upper deck. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. I have E470 and Dr. Cog items for everyone. I haven't been here. I think last time I was not here. So the E470 board meeting on the 8th of September, the big highlight was we approved a Salesforce Consulting ITN that will allow us to go to our back office build out, hopefully get that continuing to move forward. On the 7th, I had a Douglas County Sub-Regional Transportation Forum that was to discuss what Dr. Cog calls Call 3 and Call 4 pots of money. The Call 3 pot is a regional money, is some regional cash. Call 4 is more allocated to Douglas County specific, and that's roughly $20 million. Again, just talking about criteria and strategy. We see on the 17th of 21st, I attended the IBTTA conference. As board chair, I accepted the 2022 Tolling Excellence Award for reducing toll rates despite the pandemic. Great event. On the 21st, I came back to a Dr. Cog Board of Directors meeting where we formally approved Douglas County getting roughly $18 million of transportation funding. And Parker is going to receive almost $3.6 million of that. And then on the 29th, E470, we had a Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee meeting. We talked about traffic updates. We're about 7% down below forecast for year to date. And we went through the entire budget, and we will be reviewing and approving, hopefully, that budget on October 13th. So with that, I will conclude that item. The next item is consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and vote. There will be no separate discussion for consent agenda items unless council votes to remove an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on the consent agenda are for introduction only and will not be removed for discussion.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve consent agenda items 4A through 4F, please.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Rivera,
Aye.
Councilmember Pogue,
Aye.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Yes.
Councilmember Barrington,
Yes.
and the Mayor Pro Tem is a nay. So it is 4-1 in favor. We will move on to ordinances. The ordinance number 9.334.1, second reading, continued from May 2nd and August 1st of 2022. A bill for an ordinance approving the First Amendment to agreement regarding design and construction of drainage and flood control improvements for Cherry Creek at Dronsfeld Road, agreement number 21-05.04A, project number 108515, by and between Urban Drainage and Flood Control District, doing business as Mile High Flood District, the Town of Parker, and Cherry Creek Basin Water Quality Authority. Mr. Krabchuk.
Wow, that is quite the title. So, good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and council members. This ordinance is for the approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement, also called an IGA, for funding of construction of the Cherry Creek at Dransfeld Stream Stabilization Project. And this project is located along. Oops. This project is located along Cherry Creek, adjacent to the Salisbury Park and Flat Acres Farms properties. The limits are bounded upstream by the KOA Tower property and downstream by the PSCO power lines. Through annexation prior to this project, portions of the Flat Acre Farms property will be dedicated to the town. Additionally, a temporary construction easement and relocation of a sanitary line and easement is being coordinated with the KOA Tower property owners.
Mr.
upstream.
Krabchuk, just a second. We don't have any monitors up here. I don't know if there's an IT person who can maybe help us out.
IT/clerk.
Or, yeah,
Dun, 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 dun.
I don't,
Get out of our way.
are we, yeah, we turned it on, all of us.
Repeat it.
Run off of yours.
Okay. This was taken out, I don't know.
I can follow along on my computer, but sometimes they show something different.
My apologies, everyone.
Shut down on you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Right. Well, let's continue and see if we can make this work.
Good deal.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Sounds good. So I'll just kind of move along to the project overview. This project is being funded in partnership with the Mile High Flood District and the Cherry Creek Basin Water Quality Authority. The existing project reach can be separated into two areas of differing channel degradation. The lower reach, being primarily downstream of the future bridge, is experiencing downcutting and disconnection of the creek's base flows from the floodplain corridor, resulting in the drying out of otherwise dense vegetation. This area is to be stabilized using boulder cascades and a reduced construction footprint to protect the existing vegetation in place. The upper reach, being primarily upstream of the future bridge, has already disconnected from the riparian corridor and includes many unstable bare areas shown in the picture above. This reach is to be stabilized using rock riffle structures, the reshaping of the active channel, and portions of the floodplain bench, as well as plantings and soil amendments. In addition to the long-term stabilization of Cherry Creek through this reach, this project sets the table, so to speak, for the future Dransfeld extension and bridge between 20 Mile and Motzenbacher. The area of channel and floodplain realignment, as well as structures located, have been designed to hydraulically support the bridge design. Due to the necessary opening of the floodplain to support the bridge, a little more than a quarter mile of regional trail and sanitary sewer is proposed to be relocated. The existing concrete rubble spur dike located in this area will also be removed for the benefit of both the stream stabilization and the future bridge. Finally, the confluence of Cherry Creek and the KOA tributary is to be formalized with the rock structures and a culvert crossing of the Cherry Creek Regional Trail. And this project is currently under federal permitting, which is expected to be approved within the first or second quarters of 2023. While under permitting, the town is performing value engineering, looking to reduce project costs where possible. The sanitary sewer relocation work is located outside of the federally permitted area and is anticipated to commence as early as January ahead of the project. Stream construction will commence as soon as possible within the second quarter of 2023, pending the permitting, with the future roadway and bridge construction to follow. To summarize, this IGA amendment will leverage outside funding to supplement town funds for the construction of this project. Additionally, this commits the Mile High Flood District to the administration of the construction contract.
On YouTube, but not out.
And I don't think you guys can see this up here, but a couple pictures showing examples of the boulder cascades and rock riffle structures. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kravchuk. Council, any questions at this time?
No questions.
All right, I'm looking. No questions. Thank you very much. Very complete and thorough presentation. At this time, I'd like to entertain public comment on the specific project. If there's any comment, please feel forward and approach the dais and give me your name and your address, please. Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:12, and I'm happy to enter deliberation or discussion. Councilmember Rivera.
This is an ongoing effort as we attack these reaches down the Cherry Creek. What happens is we get velocities increase as we get down cutting, and as the velocities increase, we get more down cutting and more sedentary movement. What people don't know is that as a creek narrows and gets faster, the water bloom underneath the creek gets narrower and the vegetation around it dies off. And I think that's the point that Mr. Grabchuk was making. So as we have a wide meandering creek, we have a wide pool of water in the sand structure below, and the vegetation lasts longer. So it's really important to slow the creek down, spread it out, let it meander, let it do its thing that it's naturally done. And these riffle structures will allow us to slow down the velocity of the creek and maintain the vegetation. So I'm heavily in favor of this.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Pogue.
Yeah, I couldn't quite see at the angle I was looking at, but are you also looking at bank retention?
We'll be definitely doing bank improvements, both with rock and, lots of wetland plantings. So in a way, it wouldn't be, I guess, full retention as it counts, towards maybe detention or water quality aspects, but it does facilitate that, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No comments other than I'm in favor.
Thank you. Councilmember Barrington.
No comments, thank you.
All right, with no further comments, happy to entertain a motion.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve, I have the right one, I hope.
Yeah, it says
Ordinance
continuance.
number 9.334.1 on second reading.
Thank you very much. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
All right, motion from Councilmember Pogue, second from Councilmember Rivera. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Against? Abstain? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. The next item, ordinance number 5.28.30 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to amend Chapter 5.02 of the Parker Municipal Code regarding exposure of specified anatomical areas, lewd or indecent displays, and obscenity in specially licensed businesses. Mr. Hoffman.
I thought I was business license.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of Town Council. As you may be aware, As part of my representation of the town as special counsel, I represent the town's special licensing authority, which deals primarily with liquor licensing. In that capacity, I was contacted at the beginning of May of this year to review the town's regulations related to liquor license establishments and how the town's liquor regulations address nudity, specifically related to toplessness. In part, the question was related to whether a liquor licensed establishment could show a PG-13 or R-rated movie. As part of that research, it was necessary to review the town's overall regulatory scheme related to toplessness. And just to get into the weeds for a little bit, the federal courts in the United States are divided into 12 federal circuits. The town of Parker is located in what's known as the 10th Circuit, and the town's required to follow the law as set forth by the 10th Circuit. And there's actually a split of authority regarding the issue of whether the government can differentiate between male and female toplessness in the various federal circuits. For example, the Fourth Circuit, which includes the state of Maryland, came to precisely the opposite conclusion of the 10th Circuit in a recent decision involving topless sunbathing. However, because we're in the 10th Circuit, the town of Parker is required to follow the law as set forth in a case arising out of the city of Fort Collins, in which the court found that the city could not differentiate between the male and the female breast for purposes of a female-only toplessness ban. Thus, the three ordinances on the agenda this evening are in front of you to conform the town's regulations to the 10th Circuit's decision on the issue in the Fort Collins case. The first ordinance, ordinance number 5.28.30, amends provisions within Title V in the town's specially licensed businesses to address what are now outdated definitions regarding, quote, lewd or indecent displays, end quote, and related definitions. It also incorporates the state law definition regarding obscenity, and the result of the proposed ordinance, if it's adopted, is that the Pace Center or the town's movie theater, if it sought to obtain a liquor license, would be able to show mainstream movies that contain nudity. Currently, a liquor license establishment can't show such a movie under the town's existing regulations. The town's special licensing authority considered this first amendment, or this first ordinance, as it relates to the proposed liquor code amendments at its August 18th, 2022 meeting and recommended approval. And so as to this first ordinance, I'm happy to address any specific questions, but that's a summary of this first ordinance.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Hoffman. I will start with Councilmember Barrington.
Don't start with me on this one.
Okay, Councilmember Rivero.
No, I appreciate the town. Sometimes we have ordinances that do not match with reality, and it's time to update our ordinances. I'm not going to go as far as calling them a blue law, but it is time to update. We do have a retail facility, both the movie theater and then obviously our Pace Center that deserves the right to show movies for adults, and it also deserves the right to sell adult beverages to those patrons. This law prohibits that, and that is not in accordance with what I believe is the want of the people of Parker. They want to be able to go to a movie, they want to be able to go have a beer with that movie, and this law is outdated and archaic. I don't really, I guess, have a question. I realized I'm in question and answer period. Sorry, so never mind.
All right.
Strike that.
No questions.
No questions.
Okay, thank you.
No
Councilmember
questions,
Pope.
and I won't go into a comment.
All right. Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions.
All right. Councilmember Barrington.
No questions.
All right. The only question I have is if all of these ordinances proceed, I think Councilmember Rivero kind of foretold it. It would help facilitate other private businesses that could serve alcohol, in addition to what the town has at the Pace Center, correct?
It certainly could, absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, with no additional questions, I will open it up for public comment. Anybody with public comment, please come to the podium at this time. Seeing none, I will close public comment at 7:19. Councilmember Rivero, do you want to repeat what you just said, or just? add on to it?
No, I thank you, and I apologize to the public for getting ahead of myself. My comment is simply that. I think that there are situations that arise where we recognize that our laws need to be improved. In my opinion, the goal is for the betterment of the citizen. Laws are simply written to restrict somebody's free movement or rights, and when we have an opportunity to take away a law that may be archaic or not well thought out, I would say, I think it's time to improve that, and I'm in favor.
Councilmember Pogue?
Yeah, I look at this with a different perspective. As our federal laws and our state laws change, unfortunately, sometimes we have to make changes in our municipal laws, whether or not we agree with what that change is. And that's my position on this.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Hendricks?
No comment.
Councilmember Barrington?
I would like to thank the Denver Post for, actually John Aguilar, for, writing a really great article on this and just stating the facts. It might have had kind of an attention-getting headline, but if you dig into the article, I think it was a good article, and I thought he did a great job. And the other thing is, this was the Supreme Court. So it basically was a federal law, so that would become unconstitutional.
It's 10.
It was the 10th Circuit.
10th Circuit.
It hasn't gone to the Supreme Court, but
Okay.
because there is a disagreement among the two circuits, we may see that at some point in the future.
Thank you for that. Okay, so I think that's all I have. Thanks.
All right. My only comment is we're just trying to be consistent, much like Councilmember Pogue has identified. So as the law above us changes, sometimes we have to change with it. With that being said, I am happy to entertain a motion on this item.
I move to approve ordinance number 5.28.30 on second reading.
Thank you very much, Councilmember.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion by Councilmember Hendricks and a second by Councilmember Barrington. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Against?
Was that the right motion?
Yeah, I think we need a roll call vote.
Oh, okay. All right. Councilmember Rivera, my apologies.
I apologize, just a second here.
Are you questioning the motion?
I'm questioning the motion, if that was the correct ordinance in the motion
What?
that's in front of us.
5.28.30?
Yeah.
Sorry,
That is the motion.
They were out of order.
they're out of order. Aye.
Okay. Councilmember Pogue?
I'm going to reluctantly vote yes.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Yes.
Councilmember Barrington?
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Dyak is yes as well. So it's unanimous, 5-0. Thank you. The next item, ordinance number 3.01.128 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to amend Title 13 of the Parker Municipal Code addressing certain definitions. Mr. Hoffman.
Good evening. So the previous ordinance dealt with Title V, and I previously provided you the background for all three. As it relates to this second ordinance, ordinance number 3.01.128, there are certain definitions in the town's land development code that are similarly outdated based on the 10th Circuit case. And thus, the proposed amendments in this second ordinance seek to make the definitions of toplessness gender neutral. The Planning Commission reviewed the proposed amendments at its September 8th, 2022 meeting and recommended approval. Again, I'm happy to address any specific questions, but this is a summary of the second of the three ordinances related specifically to the land development code definitional changes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hoffman. Councilmember Barrington?
No questions.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Pogue?
Yes, I have a question. Even though we're being required to make this change to our ordinances and so forth, that doesn't mean we have to allow the airing of these types of movies in our public facilities, does it?
Correct. All this does is bring the town's ordinances into conformance with 10th Circuit law.
Thank you for the clarification.
Councilmember Rivera?
No questions.
All right. I have no questions at this time from council. Happy to open public comment up. If there is public comment, please come forward and state your name and address, please. Seeing none, we'll close public comment at 7:24. Final words, Councilmember Rivero.
No, I think it's important to recognize the 10th Circuit's ruling. I believe it's important to treat all of our citizens on equal footing, and I am in support of not discriminating against 51% of our population.
All right. Councilmember Pogue.
As I mentioned in my question of the attorney, I do not support airing this movie or these types of movies or shows in our public government venues. However, I do support voting for this because of the legal requirements that we have.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Hendricks.
No comments.
Councilmember Barrington.
No comment.
And Mayor Pro Tem has no comments as well. With that being said, I am happy to entertain a motion at this time.
I move to approve ordinance number 3.01.128 on second reading, please.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilmember Barrington. So a motion by Councilmember Rivero, second by Councilmember Barrington. Councilmember Barrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Yes.
Councilmember Pogue.
Aye.
Councilmember Rivero.
Aye.
And Mayor Pro Tem is aye as well, so it's 5-0. Thank you, everyone. The next item, ordinance number 5.06.32.1 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to amend Title 8 of the Parker Municipal Code regarding public indecency. Mr. Hoffman again.
Good evening once again, last of the trifecta. And this is exactly the issue that was addressed in the 10th Circuit case related to Fort Collins. And so this, or the definition, or the definition of public indecency addressed in ordinance number 5.06.32.1, if adopted, would conform the town's public indecency ordinance to the law of the 10th Circuit. And again, make the gender neutral the issue of toplessness.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hoffman. Do we have any questions? Councilmember Barrington.
No questions.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Nope.
Yep. Would you clarify gender neutral, please?
Yes, what the 10th Circuit said is you cannot differentiate between female toplessness and male toplessness for purposes of a public indecency statute.
In other words, equality of the sexes, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Councilmember Rivero.
No questions.
All right. We have no further questions up here on the dais. Any public comment, please step to the podium at this time. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment at 7:27, and I will go for final words. Councilmember Rivero.
Thank you. I believe it's time for us to treat everybody equally, and I believe in the ruling of the 10th Circuit, and I think Parker should follow behind the 10th Circuit as we're doing. Again, I want to reiterate my appreciation for Mr. John Aguilar, the Denver Post. I read the paper. I read both the Sun and the Gazette. I don't read the Post anymore. I was a little upset when certain venture capitalists took it over and fired a bunch of my favorite writers, so I left them. But Mr. Aguilar showed me that there is still some integrity at the Post, and I appreciate his article. There was maybe some other stations that ran a little bit more flamboyant and clickbait titles that were not fully descriptive of what it is we're doing and how we got to what we're doing. So I, again, will acknowledge from the bench Mr. John Aguilar, and I appreciate the Fourth Estate, and I appreciate him holding his integrity to his position as a journalist. Thank you.
Councilmember Pogue.
No further comments.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No comments.
Councilmember Barrington.
No comments. Thank you.
And no comments for Mayor Pro Tem, and I am happy to entertain a motion on this item.
I move to approve ordinance number 5.06.32.1 on second reading.
Thank you very much. I'm looking for a second.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Councilmember Hendricks, second by Councilmember Rivero. Councilmember Barrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Yes.
Councilmember Pogue.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivero.
Aye.
And Mayor Pro Tem is an aye as well, so it is 5-0. Thank you, everyone. The next item, ordinance number 5.28.31 on second reading, a bill for an ordinance to amend Chapter 5.02 of the Parker Municipal Code regarding liquor manager registration. Mr. Hoffman again, he just can't get enough of us.
Good evening one last time. This ordinance, if adopted, would bring the town's municipal code into conformance with recently adopted state legislation. And so on matters of liquor regulation is what's known as a matter of statewide concern, which means that the town is required to conform to any state legislation. In this case, House Bill 22-1415 was adopted by the legislature this past session and changed a number of regulations related to how the town and how liquor licensees across the state address manager registration and the reporting of managers for certain types of liquor licenses. And so specifically, this addresses what the town is required to do related to hotel and restaurant licenses, tavern licenses, and lodging and entertainment licenses as it relates to their managers. And the town clerk gave me some information as it relates to the number of licensees in Parker that this impacts, and it is 70. 63 hotel and restaurant licenses, 3 tavern licenses, and 4 entertainment and lodging licenses. And essentially, we cannot require the registration of managers for each separate location anymore, do background checks on managers as part of the licensing process, or take action for the failure to report managers like the town used to be able to do as a result of this recent state legislation. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Hoffman? Councilmember Rivera.
So previously, an entity could charge up to $75, but the new legislation says we have to charge $30 if there is a change?
Right. And it was the local licensing authorities that were the $75 charge, and so now it's the $30, yes.
That's it.
Okay.
Councilmember Poe?
Yeah, and then I want to clarify, we are still going to require that the managers are registered with the city, right, or the town?
It is a registration now, but we can't go into their background anymore under the new state law. So they're required to be registered. You don't have to have a separate manager registered for each separate location, but yes, they were still required to register.
Just out of curiosity, would that type of entity want to look into the background of the staff they hire?
One would hope.
Okay.
Councilmember Hendricks?
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions.
All right, we have no questions up here at this point in time. Happy to open it to public comment. If you'd like to make a comment on this item, please step forward to the podium, please. Seeing none, we will close public comment at 7:32. Happy to entertain discussion or last words. Councilmember Rivero.
I'm twofold on the, or actually, I'm a little torn on this one. I don't agree with the mandatory 30 days. I think that's a grab. But coming from this business and working for small pubs, it was kind of a hindrance to register a manager at each location when you didn't need a manager for a small pub at each location all the time. And so it was tough when I worked for a company that had 10 plus bars and there was a separate manager registered for each one. Tough for the hiring. So I believe this is a move in favor of establishments and in favor of permit holders. So I'm in favor.
Councilmember Pogue.
Yeah, I like to see people in these kinds of management in this type of a facility with a background check. But, so while I feel I have to vote for this because it's now a state law, I am opposed to it.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No comment.
Councilmember Barrington.
No comments. Thank you.
All right. Again, I think we're just trying to comply and put our ordinances in compliance with state, which I think we're required to. With that being said, I'm happy to entertain a motion on this item.
I move to approve ordinance number 528.31 on second reading, please.
Thank you. Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Councilmember Rivera, a second by Councilmember Barrington. Councilmember Barrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Hendricks.
Yes.
Councilmember Poe.
Yes.
Councilmember Rivera.
Aye.
And the Mayor Pro Tem is aye as well, so it's 5-0. Thank you, everyone. Next section of our agenda is resolutions. The next item is Resolution Number 22-051.1, a resolution to appoint one regular member to fill a vacancy on the Parker Youth Commission. Ms. Sullivan.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. I'm pleased to present for your approval, Resolution Number 22-051.1, a resolution to appoint one regular member to fill the vacancy on the Parker Youth Commission. As you know, the Parker Youth Commission was created by ordinance in May earlier this year, and it provides an opportunity for students to learn more about government, participate in the process, and represent and articulate the needs of Parker's youth. This commission serves as an advisory capacity to the town council. The commission consists of 9 members. In this inaugural year, 4 members are appointed to a 1-year term, and 5 members are appointed to a 2-year term. Candidates completed an extensive application, submitted a letter of recommendation, and were interviewed by the review committee. This committee consisted of Councilmember Barrington, Councilmember Pogue, PD Outreach Coordinator Bree Rock, Recreation Manager Aaron Kuhn, and myself. Marco Becerra-Colin, recently appointed as a member, has resigned, creating a vacancy on the Parker Youth Commission. The Review Committee recommends the Town Council approve Resolution Number 22-051.1, which would appoint Landon Schnell as a regular member to the Parker Youth Commission to fill the vacancy for the term ending August 31st, 2023. Additionally, Joey Jung, who was appointed as a member of the Youth Commission on September 19th, was unfortunately unable to attend that meeting and has joined us tonight for recognition of her appointment.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Council, do we have any questions at this time? Councilmember Barrington.
I think I asked you enough questions the other
we
couple
did
weeks ago.
We did
Thank
get a
you.
lot discussed.
Councilmember Pogue.
No, I think I also have asked enough, but I'm delighted to have you here.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions.
Councilmember Rivera.
No questions.
All right. Would you like to say a few words, or do you want to defer?
I would just say thank you for accepting my application and letting me be a part of this. I think this is going to be an amazing opportunity. Yeah, thank you guys.
You bet. Joey, would you like to say a few words? Thank you for joining us, by the way. We appreciate
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I lost my voice at a football game last week. But thank you for this opportunity, and I will definitely try my best.
All right. Thank you so much.
It's me over here speaking.
Yes. Sorry. I
The
knew it was a
voice in the room.
somewhere.
Would you like to have them come up and take a picture with you all?
Should we go through the resolution first, and then afterward?
Yes,
we can
just
go
don't
and do
forget that part.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so next is public comment. If anybody would like to come up and speak on this resolution, we're more than welcome to. Maybe a father who really appreciates being in front of the microphone? No? Okay. We'll close public comment at 7:38. And parting words, last words. Councilmember Rivera.
No, Joy, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for participating. Mr. Chanel, I know your family. You come from good people, so I expect the most from you. No, I'm just kidding. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. I'm glad you're going to be a participant, and just welcome aboard. I'm really proud you're here.
Councilmember Pogue.
You know, I'm just delighted that you're here, but I'm also delighted to have this youth commission because I think the youth of our community have never been represented before as an entity before town council, and I think that's important, so thank you.
All right, Councilmember Hendricks.
I'm just thankful you guys are stepping up and look forward to seeing you in action.
All right, Councilmember Barrington.
I'm just really excited for what you guys are going to do this year, and Landon, we're glad that you're here, and I think that the mix of youth that we have on this commission is definitely, I think it's going to give a fair representation. So thank you so much. We're excited.
All right. I have no other comments. I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 22-051.1.
Thank you very much.
I'll second.
All right. So we have a motion by Councilmember Pogue, a second by Councilmember Barrington. Councilmember Barrington,
Yes.
Councilmember Pogue,
Yes.
Councilmember Hendricks,
Yes.
Councilmember Rivera,
Aye.
and Mayor Pro Tem is a yes, 5-0. Thank you, everyone. So I'd like to defer that picture because I would like everyone down, because I think it would be a much better picture if all the council was down with the people. So we have one more thing. Can you give us? Okay. All right,
do it.
we'll do it now.
Whoa.
Come down or?
Well, yeah, I might as well stay down. I'm coming. I'm just not coming back up. I got it. Thank you. Since you're going to excuse me, I'll just disappear.
That sounds great.
Bye, Cheryl.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. The next item is Resolution 22-053, a resolution appointing directors to the Board of Directors of the Pine Bluffs Metro District. Before I recognize the department, I would like to read something into the record. The final item on the agenda is a resolution for Town Council's consideration related to the Pine Bluffs Metropolitan District, which is a residential metropolitan district. On June 15th, 2020, the Town Council found that conflict of interest existed for Councilmember Pogue that precludes her from participating in any matter that involves a residential metropolitan district. At this time, we will pause. We have already paused the meeting, so Councilmember Pogue may leave the council chambers before the council addresses this resolution. With Councilmember Pogue gone, I would like to call up, I'd like to hand the reins over to Ms. Hoffman.
Thank you very much, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. This is a resolution to appoint 5 directors to 5 vacancies on the Pine Bluffs Metropolitan District Board of Directors. The board is currently vacant, and they're unable to take any action because of this. They did publish notice of the vacancies, and no electors filed any letter of interest. So this resolution will appoint 5 directors that were previously serving on the board that are all qualified and willing to serve. Those include Walter Colbold Jr., Thomas White, Jeffrey Sheets, Kevin Neal, and Walter Colbold. Under CRS 321905.2.5, Town Council may appoint directors from a pool of duly qualified and willing directors. If these 5 directors are appointed tonight by you, they will serve until new directors can be elected at the May election. In the audience this evening is Shannon Smith Johnson. She represents the Metropolitan District. She's here in case there's any questions from council.
All right, council, any questions at this time? Councilmember Rivera.
It is the intention of the board that we were possibly reappointing to hold an election in May, or they have to hold an election in May.
They will, and the resolution says that they are serving until that election, correct?
Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington.
No questions.
All right, I have no questions. Open this up to public comment. If you would like to address us, please come forward to the podium. Seeing none, I will close public comment at 7:44. Parting comments, Councilmember Rivera.
No comments.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No comments.
Councilmember Barrington.
No comments.
With no comments, happy to entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 22-053.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilmember Hendricks and a second by Councilmember Rivero. Councilmember Barrington?
Yes.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Yes.
Councilmember Rivero?
Aye.
And Mayor Pro Tem is an aye as well, so it is a 4-0 pass. Thank you very much. With no further items before council, I will adjourn the meeting at 7:44. Thank you.